Good morning, traders. Welcome to Monday, the 8th of February morning update. First of all, want to wish everyone in China a happy Chinese New Year. It's the year of the monkey. Enjoy your celebrations. Take a week off and do everything that you need to do and celebrate like crazy. Come back the following week with good intentions, disciplined, and stay focused. Okay, for everyone else that is actually working and trading this week, a little bit of news out of China. Basically, their currency reserves or foreign currency reserves plunged by nearly 100 billion throughout January. Now this is a significant amount, and they have been running down their currency reserves in an attempt basically to boost the value of its own currency and stem the flow of funds overseas. China did have or does have the world's biggest foreign reserve currency holdings, somewhere in the region of about $3 trillion. However, it has declined by somewhere circa $400 billion over the last 6 months, which is now standing at its lowest level since May 2012. So what we've got to think about is, although that the reserves do represent a substantial war chest, the Chinese cannot sustain this amount of not easing but protection of its currency. So the question is, what's going to happen next? What will follow? Okay, moving on to the news today. What have we got coming up? Well, in all honesty, it's a pretty quiet day in terms of major news announcements. We've got some building permits coming out of Canada at 1:30 UK time, and then some medium impact news, labour market conditions coming from the US, and housing stats in Canada. Okay, other than that, that's it. It's a quiet day for the news. So what happened overnight? So if we look at the Nikkei, okay, so we noticed Nikkei came down. It closed below a significant level. Then Bank of Japan brought in negative interest rates. We had a big gap up and a huge bullish day. And if you look at the Japanese yen, you had huge selling off in the Japanese yen. It went from about 117 to 120, 175. Only to see it fall all the way back down. So the Nikkei came back down to support, and then what we've got is we've got a gap down, followed by a bullish close. So this is a significant day actually. It's a big key day reversal. So I wouldn't be surprised now if we get a follow through from this above the high of today. We should at least test the highs last week of 17,900. So any sort of entry above the break of yesterday's high, or looking at smaller time frame correlation, buying any sort of pullback, looking to target up around the 17.9s would make a sensible trading opportunity on the Nikkei. Now the Shanghai Composite were closed. It's Chinese New Year, so don't expect to see any movement here. Chinese Yuan, again, no movement here. Bank holiday all week from the 7th to the 13th in China. Okay, so let's have a look at sugar, see what we're looking for. Well, these red arrows are what we drew in last week. Now, look what's happened. Exactly what we're looking for. Price to rally up into structure. Now this structure, I'm just going to zoom out a little bit so you can see where we brought it from. You can see here, lovely test. Again test, again a test, again a test. Breaks through. Now we've come back below and we're retesting this structure area. So potentially we've got an opportunity, depending what time frame you're trading. If you're trading the daily time frame, well, you're going to have to wait for today to close. If not, we could drop down the time frames, start looking. We're on the 1 hour chart here. Yeah, we've had a gap up, but let's see what happens. You could look for some sort of reversal pattern, a double top, a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Look for some sort of even counter trend line break. Something, depending what your rules are, obviously will depend how you're going to look to trade this market. Phoenix Blue, our clients will have a set method of trading this market and management technique. But opportunity looks good here on sugar. Finally, we've got gold. Okay, if you watched our long video yesterday on analysis, we were anticipating that the market might top out around $1178 to $1,200 before reversing and taking a breath. We've got a couple of points of interest where we'll be looking at getting long. which will be, let me just pull this in. So, one more. So we're looking through this area here, which if I just initial thoughts will be in and around 1150 to 1139. That area there, looking to go long. First target is 1178. If this area fails, then we'll be looking in and around here, which is around 1120, 1115 to 1110. So that would be a substantial fall away. So first area we're looking will be around the 1150 down to 1139. Looking to get long gold with targets around 1178. Okay, so we're going to move over to the FX pairs now. So euro dollar, we're on the weekly chart here. You can see my zones marked out of interest. Obviously we've got the trend line that's of interest as well, because that's paid dividend 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So again, if it's going to touch, it's probably going to respect it again. So the question is, what are we looking for? Ultimately, my bias for the longer term is down, although we may have short-term strength in this particular market. So you've got to ask yourself, what are you prepared to do? So if the market was to come back down to sort of 109.70s, 109.60s, I'd look for short-term long up into 111.60s, somewhere like that, 1.1060. Failing that, I'm going to look for a market rally up towards the trend line, or even up towards these highs here at 1.14, and we'll look to sell it back down. Our longer term forecast for the euro is at least to test the year lows. We've got Mr. Draghi speaking in March, so that should give us some significant movement on this. We've also got Mrs. Yellen speaking Wednesday, I believe it is, so that should give us some significant moves there. Dollar CAD. Okay, well, we know that dollar CAD is respected and, let's say, correlated with oil, not respected. So it correlates with the price of oil. So we can see that this strength in Canadian dollar here, is it short-term strength? Is it profit taking from this big rally up? Or is it just a little breather where oil has started to find maybe not its bottom, because I'm looking for a little bit further down in oil. So I am looking for more longs on dollar CAD. Potentially we could look at something through this region here around 138s, 137.90s. But ultimately I'd like to see a push up and a retest of the 1.4 before heading further up. Or we're going to look for it to come back down into the trend line, and then we'll look to take it long also. Cable, I was looking for another touch or another retest in the 146 areas before getting short. We'll be looking to target initially year lows in and around 141s. We do have a longer term target, late to mid 1.3s. Two more charts, Aussie dollar and dollar Swiss. So Aussie dollar, initially we're looking at, I've just made a slight adjustment on where I'm looking. So in my analysis yesterday, I think I gave entries around 71.35, 71.40. This morning, with a fresh set of eyes, I've just looked, and I'm actually moving my analysis just a slight bit higher. The structure looks even better up here, around 71.70 to 71.80, 71.90. We'll look for shorts through here. Initial targets will be somewhere around the 70.50, and then looking to sell on down towards the year lows of 69, 68.50s. Dollar Swiss, well, where we're at represents a little bit of structure in and around the big number of 99. However, we can see that there's structure here, but my preference will be in and around the 98 big even handle. I'll be looking to get long dollar Swiss here, based on the fact that the Swiss franc is seen as overvalued. We're looking at monetary policy divergences, and we will be looking for the Swiss government or a little bit of intervention potentially to come in at some point. They're probably waiting for Yellen or Draghi to see if they can pull the punch first. last but not least, dollar yen. Well, we know that dollar yen is the risk on, risk off currency. You can see that I'm looking at potentially trading this long here from 116.10. We've got a buy limit in. Initial targets I've put in at 120. I will be taking money off the table in and around 118.70s, and I will be looking to run this up to 120, 170. I always put a target in initially, which I then adjust as we monitor the situation. Okay, guys, that's it from the morning update today, Monday the 8th of February. I hope you've enjoyed the information today. If you have, please click like and subscribe to our channel. Again, all traders and everyone around China, wishing you a fantastic and happy new year. All the best and good luck. Speak tomorrow. Bye-bye.